Mansion Ferretti, WVJusticeLawyers.com, also by CMA Honda of Winchester, now at 369,000 miles on the CRB.
Wow.
Right?
You're coming close.
30,000, like 700 to get to the
That'll be
floors.
like in 2 weeks.
No,
No, I'm kidding.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bill made me predict a day to get to 4,
Uh-huh.
and I said February 26th of 2026. That was my prediction.
That long. Okay.
About 25, 30,000 miles a year.
A year,
So
okay.
We're in December, so that seemed to make sense to me.
Okay.
So we have it written down now, Maria, and we're going to.
Are we going to have a celebration?
We're going to start
We should
counting
have a
down. We're going to
celebration.
count down
Okay.
day at a time,
Okay.
until December the 26th. No, February 26th,
Next year.
2026.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got. I figure that's about 14 months.
Yeah.
That work for you?
It does.
Did I see Bill's car, the blue one outside?
Oh yeah, you did.
Oh, I did.
That's
You
a
didn't
sweet
hit
car.
it, did you,
We
Beezie?
didn't hit it. We
I
did
parked
not
next
hit
to
it.
it.
You put.
Beezie
Hope you
told
kept
me
a
to
lot
be
of
careful.
distance away.
Yes.
Those
yes.
voices you hear, that Beezie Kearse, the legendary Beezie Kearse.
Well,
Great
I
to
don't
finally
know.
meet you.
Pardon me?
Great to finally meet you.
Well, thank you. I do text in on occasion.
You do.
Yeah,
You do
I
a nice
like-
job.
And I never miss Friday mornings.
Ann Turner is here as well. Ann, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
You are the president of the Old Berkeley Garden Club.
I'm co-president with another one of our members,
Co-president.
Yes.
Who's the other president?
Mary Carson.
Mary Carson. Very nice. And Beezie, what's your role in it?
Well, right now, I'm the oldest member in the garden club and have been in the longest of anybody in the garden club. And I'm also the conservation chairman.
Well, congratulations.
And she's
On
our
your longevity.
inspiration. She's our inspiration.
Not saying how old you are, but how long you've been in the club.
I thought you were going to say, how old are you?
Because Beezie and I can probably talk as far as age. We
I,
commiserate. So.
Let's see. I joined Old Berkeley Garden Club when I was like 25, maybe.
Okay.
And then when I went to work for adult and community education, I stopped. And then the minute I retired, I got back in the garden club again. So I've been in for quite a while, in the 1960s.
Well, very nice. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
So, for those not familiar with the garden club, it seems like the title would imply what you do, but specifically, what do you do?
Well, it started in 1945, 1949.
Yeah.
And if you remember back in those days, women.
Rob does not.
No, he's too young.
Yeah, yeah.
Women didn't work the way they do now. So there were these gals that got together and said, we're going to form a garden club. And I remember as a kid, my mother was in the garden club. They gardened and they cut their flowers in the summer. And one of the things they did was go to the VA center and would make huge flower arrangements for the main hallways, the central area, in the central area. I think they even called it like Times Square at the hospital. And it's not like the hospital is today. It was long hallways and this way and going out, And they would make these huge arrangements. And then everybody gardened, and then they socialized and had wonderful summer picnics and Christmas parties. And basically, back then, I don't think they did the public service that we do now and beautification projects and that, which Ann can tell you a lot about those.
Ann?
Well, I've been a member since 2008, about 16 years. And I think of our club, and there are 9 garden clubs in the 2-county area, Jefferson and Berkeley counties. So I think we have 5 in Berkeley County and 4 in Jefferson County. And
They all fall under your umbrella? They all related?
They're all a part. We have what we call the Shenandoah Potomac Garden District, which includes the garden clubs in those two counties, plus Morgan County. But Morgan County doesn't have any garden clubs, so it's really just the 2 counties. But we come together for different projects throughout the year, and we collaborate with other clubs on a variety of things. But when I joined, what I found was that we certainly focus on floral design, and Beezie was describing that was a big focus initially. But I knew nothing about floral design when I first joined. I still don't know nearly as much as Beezie knows. I mean, there are folks who are so talented in terms of design, and I get by. But I've learned a lot through different programs that we've had. And then also we talk about gardening, getting dirty, putting our hands in the grounds, learning about planting different plants and veggie gardening, flower gardening, butterfly gardens, a lot of different things. And then, as Beezie said, one of the major contributions of the clubs is the community service. We all do projects that contribute to the beautification of the area. And I've often thought that most folks out there living in our communities, they aren't aware of the contributions that all of the garden clubs have made over the years.
What can we see visually that shows us that you had done some work in the area?
Well, I'll start off and you can
start
fill
off.
in. We did our club did a butterfly garden at Poorhouse Farm Park.
Okay.
And we just last year did a beautification around the new sign at Ambrose Park. The Parks Department put in the sign, of course, but we did all of the landscaping around it. We did the same thing a few years ago at War Memorial Park. We've done beautification at the Randy Smith Recreation Center in the southern part of the county.
And the Berkeley Courthouse complex as well.
Yes,
Dumbbell, you did
exactly.
that, yeah.
And the Martinsburg Library is I think we did the initial plantings, and we've maintained that.
Well, the initial planning for the library as it is today, when it was rebuilt, when the library moved to the square and was built, Mrs. Douglas Thomas, who was a member of our garden club, in her will left money to the library, and it was the original design and landscaping of the library. And since that time, we have been maintaining it, and it's been redone,
A lot
3 or
of
4
times.
times. And it kind of needs to be refurbished, fixed up a little bit, make it look good for the public. So.
Are you or your particular garden club or the group as a whole, the 9, do anything special for Christmas and the holidays?
Well, actually, the Berkeley County clubs come together in a group called the Berkeley County Council. And there are several projects that we do together throughout the year. One is decorating the library downtown, which of course we're not doing this year because it's closed, but our club chose to instead decorate the Hedgesville Library. But typically all of the clubs will have a different part of the library that we're responsible for decorating. We also do as a Berkeley County Council, do the plantings in the flower pots at War Memorial Park, which are lovely throughout spring and summer. And then the last project that we work with the Berkeley County groups on is the maintenance of the Blue Star Memorial markers at the rest areas on Interstate 81, the one coming north from Virginia at the Virginia state line and going south at the Maryland state line. And there are Blue Star Memorial markers at each one of those rest areas or welcome centers, which commemorate the veterans of the, World War II. Mm-hmm. And there are gardens around them. And so the garden clubs work together to maintain those and landscape them.
And the springtime house and garden tour
thank you
also falls under your jurisdiction,
Right, yeah.
correct?
That's huge.
It is huge.
It is, and that's a Jefferson County and Berkeley County project. That's all 9 garden clubs work together. Each club selects a house often a historic home, but not always, some house of interest in the area. And they, of course, with the agreement of the homeowner, who are making a major commitment
That's
here,
key.
the club works to make floral arrangements, designs for each one of the areas, and then, of course, this it's a weekend. It's a whole weekend that's set aside for this. For how many years, Beezie? 60 years we've been
60-some
doing
years.
this, and our club has never missed a single year. We've shown a house at each
And
one.
it is really remarkable. If you've gone through, and you don't have to do every single home on the
Right, yeah,
tour. You
yeah.
pick what you want, and for those of us who are just nosy and want to see some of those beautiful homes, it's just a great
Absolutely.
way to.
And people come not just from our
Right.
area. I
DC,
mean, we
they
have
come,
people
yeah.
coming, from Maryland, from Pennsylvania, and it's become an annual trek for them. And it's a whole weekend. It's a Saturday, Sunday, always the last full weekend in April. But the monies that are raised through that, because there is an admission charge, like $25 to go in every single house, which is pretty reasonable. And then we sell ads also to local businesses who want to participate and have their ad in the booklet that's distributed. But this is our major fundraiser of the year, at least for our club it is. And so the monies that are made are put into a pot, and then the 9 clubs can submit an application for consideration for a beautification project. And this year there are 2 based on the amount of money we made at last year's House and Garden Tour. There are 2 grants that will be given for $7,500 each to 2 different clubs for their special project. And then in addition to that, each club that participated in the House and Garden Tour gets $750, which enables them to do a smaller project in their area. So it's a little, in terms of the large project, it's a competitive situation. So we are, each club really tries to find a very special need in their area and put together a plan, work often with local nurseries to come up with the right plan, a landscaping plan. And then the council itself, the group that has sponsored this project from beginning to end, which is actually called the Shenandoah Potomac Garden Council. The representatives from that council, which are all of the garden clubs participating, vote on which is the most worthy project for the large project.
So, can you disclose what those 2 large projects are for us? They haven't been selected yet.
They haven't been selected.
We have to submit the application by January, and the decision will be made in February, and then the project will be done in the spring.
What about last year, Ann? Which were the 2 projects
Last year, oh boy, this is.
I'm trying to think. We didn't do a
we-
large project.
Actually, last year there were no large projects because we're just recovering from the pandemic. We went a few years without being able to have the
House and Garden Tour.
right, and so there was a lack of funding.
Gotta have money.
And so, but each garden club was given. We had enough money from past years where every penny wasn't spent, and we had enough money for a small project, and each club got, I think, $1,000, and we used ours to re-landscape the Ambrose Park sign. But in addition, our club had some money that we were able to have an additional project, and we worked with the Children's Home Society to re-landscape their office area downtown in downtown Martinsburg on Queen Street.
Very
I
nice.
think the last large project we did was as you come into town, the Welcome to Martinsburg
Yeah.
signs. We did all of those
Yeah.
on, Queen Street,
Yeah.
King Street, Edwin
Winchester
Miller Boulevard.
Avenue.
Climbing up the
Winchester
ladder yourself, Beezie,
Yeah.
and taking care of those?
Avenue. I do go by and check on them once in a while to see how they're looking, you know.
Hey, two questions for you, Beezie, from our audience. One is from Brad Knoll, who's the king of Tomahawk. Did you live in Tomahawk along the Back Creek back in the 70s?
I did.
There you go, Brad. You got that answer. And Jeff Haddix wants to know, is Beezie short for something else?
Not. It's a long story how I got that nickname.
I
We
have
got
10
time.
minutes. I have 9 minutes and 17 seconds.
My real name's Mary Boyd, and my cousins across the street. I grew up on South Queen Street, and these two male cousins that I just absolutely adored used to call me Bee all the time. And my mother said, she can't go by Bee. That's Charlie Bell's maid's name. And so they said, well, we'll call her Beezie. And it stuck.
Oh, it's a nice name. I like it.
It stuck.
It's unique.
Yeah, when
There's not
and
another
when
Beezie.
I was in college, you're in this big auditorium room, and the teacher's calling out roll or something like that. They would call Mary Faulkner, and it was like,
Who's that?
Who's that? Oh, I've had it for a long, long time.
So you've just kind of adopted it as the formal name now.
It is. Everybody knows me by Beezie.
And spelled differently. Some people, it's a big B and a big Z,
Z.
and then others are it's Beezie. Beezie and I go way back. So,
And
yeah.
Did Maria ever tell you she used to teach physical fitness classes?
I can,
For adult and
I can
community
believe
ed,
it.
yeah.
I do believe that.
Yeah.
When I worked for adult and community ed.
We
I
had a
hired
good
Maria
time
to come
in the
teach a
Raymer
class.
Center. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Did you get Bill jumping around there in spandex during those classes too?
No.
But I wish I had been.
Not at all. Not at all.
How many members are there of the garden club total when you add up all your branches?
We have 22 regular members, active members, and we have
In your club.
in our club, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 3 what we call
Associate
associate members. And the associate members are people who've been active in the past but need to take a little breather, step back. So, but they often still
Mm-hmm.
participate.
Are you the largest of the 9 clubs in Surrey?
I would say that we're probably maybe about average. We're a part of a larger organization, which is the West Virginia Garden Club, and the West Virginia Garden Club has 2 designations. You're either a small club or a large club. We're a small club, and we're limited to 24 members. 24 active members.
Okay, so let me ask
Yeah.
the question. Any men in any of the garden clubs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Not ours yet.
Okay.
But we're looking. I mean,
And you have a couple slots,
Yeah,
right?
we do have a
Yeah.
couple slots. Yeah.
Bill?
There's a chance, Bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So looking at the area as a whole, there'd be approximately 200 members using
Yeah.
kind of rough
Yeah,
math,
right.
200 members with
Yeah.
garden clubs. That's
Yeah.
a substantial number of folks.
It is.
Talk-
And they accomplish so much. As I said, I've often thought that folks don't appreciate the contributions that the clubs have made to their beautification.
Talk about how different you are, or if there's a overlap with, say, the master gardeners. Are the master gardeners any part of, or do you have any overlap, or theirs is a different mission? Yes.
Right.
Mission,
Right.
yeah. And we have used the master gardeners to come and give programs for us.
Okay.
And they just are more really get into the nitty gritty gardening,
Yeah. And I
get
don't
their
believe-
hands dirty.
I don't believe they're into the design
No,
element.
no design stuff.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
strictly the gardening,
Yeah.
trees,
And some of our members are also master gardeners.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're a wonderful resource because there's so much that they know that we don't know.
You do work with Melanie Files.
I don't know that name.
You know Melanie? Yeah, she's a master composter.
Yes,
Oh,
it
okay.
is. And I
Okay.
think they should come.
Yeah, that
She and
would-
Rick should come and give a talk to our garden club.
Yeah, I tell you that because I grow tomatoes and peppers in the summer, and last year for the first time, the peppers I got were getting looked like lesions on the skin of the peppers, and I emailed Melanie about that, and she said you need more potassium in your soil. So this year I added more potassium to the soil. And if you ever have like expired eggs in your refrigerator, instead of throwing them away,
Throw them in your garden.
throw them in your garden. And I'm going to tell you
Crack 'em?
something. Yeah, crack them and put them in the soil. I got a crop of peppers this year that were more abundant, bigger, perfect throughout the. It just
Because of your eggs.
Yeah.
well,
because of melanin.
the potassium.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because
melanin's
the tips
advice.
of Rick and the tomatoes were wonderful. It was a great season, despite the lack of rain. By the way, it was still a great season, and I just sadly had to bury the tomato plants this past weekend because the freeze killed about 40 of them that were green that would have had a great last crop would have come in. But they did a good diagnosis for me via email and solved the problem. So I would highly
great.
recommend you bring them around.
That sounds,
Come and
yes,
give
that
a-
would be
a
that's
program.
a great program.
And one of the things I mentioned, like in the fall when all your leaves come down, I think I said this at the garden club meeting. Don't rake your flower beds and clean them up. Let the leaves and litter stay there over the winter because it protects a lot of our valuable insects that used to, sort of huddle in there for the winter time and make it through the winter that we need.
Do you folks in the garden club pay dues?
We
Yes,
do.
We do.
Yeah. How much are your dues?
Very reasonable. Is it $40? I think
$40.
$40 a year.
Yeah.
Does that help fund your projects as well then?
It does.
Some.
But mostly it just is for incidental expenses. Postage.
Socialization.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
How
But-
often do you meet?
We meet once a
Once a
month.
month.
Once a
Beezie.
month.
Yeah.
And once a month.
And typically at members' homes. We meet from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. Our club chooses to. Other clubs
Meet at
meet in
night.
the evening. And because one of the things that clubs are challenged with is, a lot of them have older members and who are retired. Aren't working anymore, and the folks who are younger working have difficulty getting to the meetings. So we have been fortunate in that. I mean, I really think we've got 7 or 8 what I would consider young people still working, but they're in jobs that are flexible enough to enable them to get to one meeting a month. As I say, from 1 to 3 on a Thursday afternoon.
2 minutes left. Is there anything specific you need to make sure you promote or mention that we didn't get to today?
I was thinking if there are any listeners out there that might be interested in joining a garden club, they could call 304-267-4223.
4223. And they should expect to help out on how many projects during the course of the year?
A couple.
A couple.
A couple of large ones. Not $7,500 worth of one, but a couple of projects. And a lot of, we do a lot of maintenance, a lot of weeding. We'll go to some of our past projects that aren't looking so good and have to get down there.
Would
and do
my
some-
lawn qualify?
Oh, I'm afraid not.
It's a big lawn, Ann.
It's a big lawn, but I could see it's either you
Yeah,
out there pulling
yeah.
weeds or
All
me
right.
pulling weeds, and I would rather give you a beer and have you pull weeds.
Well, just one other quick comment. One of the projects that we did that I love is the rhododendron garden. We planted a rhododendron garden or grove at War Memorial Park near the main pavilion. Easy to do, not terribly expensive. We bought the plants at a local big box store. And rhododendron is the state flower of West Virginia. And
they're
so,
beautiful this
and
year.
they're beautiful,
They were gorgeous.
and I think we're looking to planting another rhododendron garden at one of the other parks. So
That's great.
On our Facebook page, which we frequently get some negative comments, you ladies are getting high marks across the board. So well done.
well, thank you.
And they want us to bring you back in the
Yeah.
spring when you'll have all kinds of tips
Well, we can
and
talk about how the house and garden tour went.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Ann and Beezie, thanks so much for coming in.
thanks for,
Enjoyed it.
thanks for the
Enjoyed
invite.
being here.
It was great to have you here. Best of luck to you both. And our segment today brought to you in part by the Skinner Accident and Injury Attorneys at skinnerwins.com. realtyresults.com. Also by the Brown at Funeral Homes and Cremations, Robert Fields and Sons, and by Laird and Mark on Company at Century 21 Modern Realty Results.